One of the cool things that happened with you is that you got featured in Cosplay Alliance Magazine. And
Oh
so
yeah.
how did that happen? Because that's kind of what I think put you on the map in a lot of ways, where obviously you had viral things going, but this is one of the things that I think brought a lot of attention to you. It gave you a
Mhm.
nice piece in a magazine, and it also
Mhm.
drew a lot of attention for what you were doing with this character.
Right. Um, I had applied to because they have a submission, and so I was thinking I had a few pictures, and I had never applied to or submitted my picture for a cosplay magazine before, so I didn't know how I was gonna go. I thought I was gonna get rejected, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, then still fine, whatever. So I submitted my pictures, and next thing you know, they told me they uh, they sent me a letter back, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and feature you. We actually want to ask you if you want to be featured before. We just not never got around to it." So I was like, "Oh wow, all right, cool." And next thing you know, like they had a big spread of me too, and I was actually surprised about that because I thought it was gonna be like three little squares on like a certain section of the page about me. No, they had like multiple pages about me. I was like, oh
So
man.
what is that like? Because obviously media is fascinating and it's also
Mhm,
affirmation and reconfirming who you are, what you're doing, you're on the right
mhm.
track. And when people start doing that, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, now I have social cred. Social credit
Right,
is worth
right.
a lot. You know, respect is worth a lot. People who don't know
Mhm.
who I am now know who I am, and
Right.
all that stuff. It's something that obviously, when you reach a certain point, that starts happening. And it's great that people say, oh, you're great. But then when a magazine does it, everybody
Right.
knows you're great, for instance.
Yeah. And it's so it's real affirming, it's real I felt validated because like doing cosplay, I've faced a lot of racism doing cosplay. And I've even, had people tell me that my cosplays weren't that good and, whatever.
And
Um,
also, it's the fact that I'm going to say something that's going to be slightly sexist to some degree, but it's the idea that it's harder for a male cosplayer than it is
yeah,
for a
yeah,
female cosplayer. So
yeah.
that also doesn't help. Where, I mean, I'm not going to say who, but I have a friend who photographers wouldn't work with him because he was a guy.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's messed up.
That
And
is messed up.
he had a female photographer work with him on his calendar, and
Hmm.
it was a weird thing. But yeah, even going back to this, like, what was that all like? Because obviously, there's a lot of obstacles that you were
Yeah.
facing.
And it just made me feel validated. It made me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. If a cosplay magazine is willing to feature me, then I must be doing something right. And if I am doing something right, I'm gonna keep doing it because I enjoy it. And and that was so crazy because after that one, literally, like in the next 2 months, I got featured in two more magazines. So it was like Cosplay Alliance, boom. Then the month after that, Cosplay Realm, boom. Then the month after that, Cosplay Zine, boom. So I was just like, whoa, it was just like back to back to back to back. And I was like, all right. I was like, hey, if
There's a
they
saying,
want me, I'll keep doing it.
there's a saying when it rains, it pours.